Welcome to Teaching Orchestra. In this video, we're going to go over the left-hand patterns and the Black Knight by Ian Edlund. Before the holiday, I posted Season 5, Episode 10, which has a sample rehearsal of what I do in my classroom. A lot of people gave my students some compliments, especially in the inner voices. They said, and Beyond the Thunder, the inner voices are so clear. And my approach to teaching Black Knight is very similar to how I teach Beyond the Thunder. So if you want to get that crystal clear, squeaky clean performance out of your group for a contest, a concert, a festival, or evaluation, there's a couple of approaches that work. Well, way more than a couple of approaches, but using the certified, ordained, commissioned teaching orchestra, teaching companion, there's two ways that you can do this. And really, I should probably mention also that these teaching companions, to get the most out of them, you should treat them like a choose your own adventure book. If you just play from start to finish and say, well, that's good, now we should be able to nail the piece, it's not going to work very well. So pick a couple of exercises to perfect and repeat them. Really hone in on the technique there. Don't just play it front to back. I also like to use peer-to-peer coaching to create accountability in the classroom and to make every student into a teacher. If you want to know how to do that, check out Season 5, Episode 6, where I talk about restorative practices and how to modify that concept into a coaching platform where students can coach each other. Now, in my teaching companion for the Black Knight, which is available on teachingorchestra.com for purchase, it's the most comprehensive teaching companion that I've ever written to date. And if I had to choose between writing this again or paying the $10, I would gladly pay $10 to not have to spend the hours that it took me to create this. So give it a shot. Check out the teaching companion. So let's look at one of the left-hand exercises. You could do this a couple different ways. What you can do is you can either start by doubling up the notes, or you can start with the quarter notes. Now, this sort of approach really depends on your ensemble strengths and weaknesses. And you're a good teacher, right? So you want to lead with their strengths so that they learn the patterns quicker. So if their strength is the bow technique and the bow style, double up on that first. And if their strength is intonation, well, then play the quarter notes first, okay? Whichever they're stronger in. If they're stronger in the pitch, do the quarter notes, because that's one less thing they have to think about. They can learn the fingerings. If they're really good with the style, okay, we'll just have them bounce multiple times, and then they'll learn the left hand easier that way. A pro tip for those groups that are really behind with spiccato, and if they are, you can check out Season 1, Episode 7. But if they're really behind with spiccato, you can do 4 bows per note or even 8 bows per note instead of just 2, and that'll help. If the 8th notes were on the string, instead of off the string, you could just slow it down with the metronome and gradually increase the tempo. But for spiccato, that doesn't always work. And I find that keeping the metronome at 132 beats per minute and simply increasing the number of bows allows the student more time to learn the left hand while maintaining the style. Now, with the quarter notes, you can really slow down the tempo. You can put a fermata over all of those quarter notes and really learn the intonation. And if you really want to insist on creating a culture of tuning your classroom, that's what you're going to do anyway. You can also double up on the quarter notes. You don't have to hold them out with long bows. You could do 2 quarter notes or 4 quarter notes or whatever, but just keep it consistent in your rehearsal practices. But, that's another option. Okay, but you see how to use these teaching companions, right? If you just focus on each section with the double bars and you just go over them and go over them and go over them until you get the way you want it, that's the way you make progress. If you just start here and finish way over here, it's not going to be the same. So this is the way you can woodshed these left-hand passages with your whole orchestra, not just with your first violins, not just with your violas, not just with your second violins, but also on the other hand, if you take your students through all 8 of these patterns every day and you woodshed them to that level every day, your students might have a revolution. Okay, think about what the Dutch did to Lamoureux, the Count of Egmont. Okay, that could be you. Any Beethoven or Goethe fans out there? Any isoclasmatists? Anyway, back to the Black Knight. Pick a few of the patterns, but don't spend more than about 5 minutes on them. Maybe when you're just starting, just do one of them, and probably do number 1 because look, it's everywhere. Look at rehearsal B. Here we go. We love E minor. Oops, something different. The idea that we use that pattern over and over again kind of nails down the point of my next video, which is going to be musicianship and phrasing. If you aren't doing the phrasing, and let's look again. Here, let's turn the page. Let's look at all this stuff, Okay, it's going to be, as Ian Edlund put it, not as enjoyable. Or, as I would put it to my students, hey folks, if y'all keep playing this way, we're going to have to change the title from The Black Knight to Carefully Examining the Dirt for Dullness. So don't play a boring performance, and I hope to see you in the next video.